सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येम अक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितन्यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। So today we begin the mantra number 5 of the Mandukya Upanishad. So let's chant the mantra and then we will see the meanings. Just to give you the reference pages on Swami Akhandananda's book, the 5th mantra starts from page 179, and in Swami Dayanandaji's book it starts from, I should have made a note of it instead of spending this much time, on 123, page number 123. Mantra number 5. Yatra sukto na kanchana kamam kamayate na kanchana swapnam pashyati tat sushuptam सुषुप्तस्थान एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानघनः एव आनन्दमयोः प्रज्ञानघन एव आनन्दमयो ह्यहि आनन्दभुक् चेतो मुखः प्राज्ञः तृतीयपादः. One more time. यत्र सुप्तो न कंचन कामं कामयते न कंचन स्वप्नं पश्यति तत् सुषुप्तं सुषुप्तस्थान एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानघन एव आनन्दमयो हि आनन्दभुक् चेतो मुखः प्राज्ञः तृतीयपादः. Okay. So here just giving a quick translation of this verse by Swami Paramarthananda. The mantra states, the sleep state is that where one is self-ignorant, one does not desire any external object and does not see any dream. The third quarter is the prajnaha, whose field is the sleep state, who is undifferentiated, who is a mass of mere consciousness, who is full of ananda, who is the experience of ananda, and who is the gateway to the experience of the waking and the dream. Very good translation. I just thinking about all the meanings of it and so on. It captures it very well. So we'll go into what does it really mean? How is that important for us in our understanding of ourselves? So very beautiful things. All right. So here in introducing the fifth mantra, Adi Shankara makes an observation. So he doesn't go straight away into the explanation of the mantra itself, but he gives an introduction to it. And this is pointed out with a lot of thought and explanation by Swami Akhandanandaji. Swami Dayanandaji goes straight away into the fifth. It goes into the translation of Adi Shankara also, but doesn't give the importance of the introduction as much as Swami Akhandananda has given. So I'm going to follow that. So to do that, Adi Shankara's Bhashya on the introduction to the fifth verse of the Mandukya goes like this. He says, Darshana adarshana vrityoho tattva aprabodha lakshanasya swapasya tulyatvat sushupti grahanartham yatra suptaha ityadi visheshanam. So let's look at it backwards. He says, Yatra suptaha ityadi visheshanam. So if you notice, the fifth mantra doesn't start with sushuptasthanaha ekibhutam, etc. It doesn't start with that right away, as the previous mantras do. So make a note of that. It's interesting. If we go back to the previous mantras, version number 3 and 4, really, the two previous ones that talked about the place where we have different experiences. So number 3 is Jagrita Sthano Bahish Pragya. Number 3. Number 4 said Swapna Sthano Antaf Pragya. So number 5 should say Sushupta Sthana, but it doesn't do that. It has a this is the mantra itself now. In the mantra itself, it says, Yatra supto na kanchana kamam kayate, na kanchana swapnam pashyati tat sushuptam. This is the Upanishad itself prefixes Sushupta Sthana with a brief introduction. Why? Why does he do that? So here, Adi Shankara takes that up. Very beautifully takes it up. We'll see what that means. So he says, Darshana adarshana vrityoho tattva aprabodha lakshanasya swapasya tulyatvat sushupti grahanartham yatra suptaha ityadi visheshanam. So he says the visheshanam. Visheshanam means a particular mention, a distinction. Visheshanam means a quality. So here it means a distinction, which says yatra suptaha. Why? So he gives an explanation. He says Darshana adarshana vrityoho tattva aprabodha lakshanasya. So now let us look into that. He says, look, when you say, I didn't see anything, you don't know because you didn't see anything. Okay? So this is called adarshana aprabodha. Adarshana aprabodha means, bodha means an understanding. Okay? An understanding of what? Tattva apradibodha. So here we can even, this is a beautiful analysis given on this. So start with the word tattva. We have a very beautiful introductory text called Tattva Bodha. So Tattva Bodha means an understanding of the truth. Tattva means the truth. And Bodha means an understanding, a correct evaluation. This is what is called Tattva Bodha. So here he says, now based on that, now let's look at it. He says Tattva Apradibodha, a non-understanding of Tattva. Due to what? Adarshana. Adarshana means you don't see anything. You say, did you see somebody? He says, no, I never saw that because I didn't see that person. It's called adarshana. Tattva abodha. Okay. So now let's just look at the word tattva. Let's start with every word that we must understand. So, this is what Vedanta says, that you cannot understand the meaning of a sentence until you understand the meaning of each word. So in Tattvamasi, so this is an equation. An equation consists of some sentences, although very short, Tattvamasi. And each sentence must have some words, and each word must be understood before you understand the sentence. And then if you understand the sentence, then the equation or the non-equation makes sense to you. None of that will happen until the word is correctly understood. So let's start with the word tattva. So the tattva consists of tat and tva. So tat, let's set aside tat for a minute. Tva means an inherent quality of something is called tva. Like for example, Manushya. Manushya means a human being. So now if you add tva to it, it becomes Manushyatvam. What is the meaning of Manushyatvam? It means the quality of being a human being. Human beingness. That's what it means. Human beingness. Manushyatvam. Purushatvam. Stritvam. Etc. So the tvam means the inherent quality. Okay, so that's the tvam. Now let's go to tat. Tat means that. So tat means Brahman. It means the Atma. And because that is this, So that will not be clear until we know what that is being talked about. Then this will also become clear. So it looks like it's a paroksha vastu. Anything paroksha is called tat. He says, that subject I know. What subject? The one that is being talked about. Or you can say, this subject I know, means the one I am teaching. So that means something which is paroksha, which is away from you. So yes, Brahman appears to be, even though Brahman is neither this nor that, but it appears to be different. That's our standing in starting point of our life, all of our lives. So anyway, Tat means Brahman. So now we understand, leave aside the word Brahman, let's understand the word Tattvam. So here, Tattvam means the reality of something is called Tattvam. So what do you mean by the reality of something? How do you define the reality of something? So the reality of something is not arbitrary. It is a fact. What do you mean by it's a fact? So it is defined to be something which it never leaves. Never. So that is the definition of Sat. Sat means that it can never be negated. Never. Either in time or in place, none of the coordinates change it, nor in exclusion of from one vastu to another. Like for example, you can say a cow is not a horse. So cow is excludes a horse. So the horse cannot be the tattvam of the cow. So the tattvam of the cow means that something that never leaves the cow is called tattvam. Similarly, the tattvam of everything means something which is always there. This is what we have to appreciate very clearly. We kind of have some idea about it, but this needs to be strengthened, clarified. And so tattvam means something which is always there is called tattvam. So for example, you can say, what is the tattvam of a ring? The tattvam of the ring is the substance that the ring is made out of. So that is what tattvam means. Now we are clear. Tattvam means the truth. What do you mean by the truth? One that never leaves. Always is there. Whether it is understood or not is a different matter, but it is always there. Similarly, we see that the tattvam of our experiences. So what is our experience consist of in life? All the experiences. Our experiences, what do you mean by experiences? Experiences means our seeing things, our touching things, our thinking about things. So the entire spectrum of both sthula sharira, sthula objects as well as sukshma objects that impinge on me during the day. That's what experiences are. So these are all different experiences. Now the question is, what is the tattvam of these experiences? Because every experience is different from the others. what can be seen cannot be touched. I mean, it can be, but from the standpoint of experience. And so past is different, future is different, countries are different, people are different, everything is all different. This is what we experience. So what is the tattva of all these experiences? By our definition, we would say that the tattva of the various experiences is something which is always there in the experience. Isn't it? So for you to see the tattva of a bangle or a ring is something which is the very substance that those things are made out of. Those never go. The ringness itself may go. The bangleness itself may go, but the substance by which these are made out of is the tattva. So similarly, our experiences come and go, but is there something that they are made out of which never goes? Yes. That is jnanam. That is the satyam. That is the satyam jnanam anantam. That is the Brahman, that is the Atma that we are inquiring about. Never goes. As a completeness, anantam, never goes. Even though we will see this later, even though we deny it, even though we don't understand it, we deny it. How can it be anantam? How can it be ananda? No, that's not my experience. We are not talking of the experience. We're talking about this tattvam of the experience. So therefore, now we can close this chapter of the book. The tattva means the truth of my experiences. Again, we can examine the word truth of the experience. It means the very reality, which means the substance from which experiences are made out of, never goes. So now we are complete with the word tattva. So now we can say the tattva can be either understood, which means tattva bodha, or not understood. This is what we will see, which is called tattva aprabodha. Okay, got it? So now we got next things. We said tattva aprabodha. Now we can understand the sentence of Adi Shankara. Let's see the sentence again, and then we will analyze what it means. The sentence says, so this is the Shankara Bhashya. You can find it in this very similar pages 179 and 143. This is the Shankara Bhashya introducing the fifth mantra. It says, Darshana adarshana vrityoho tattva aprabodha lakshanasya swapasya tulyatvat. Swapasya tulyatvat. So he says, listen, you do not understand something in one of two ways. The non-understanding of something has two manifestations. What are the two manifestations? Later on, he's going to say, you can also see that it has three ways you can do it. So right away in this same, the second sentence, you will see this. Athava. Trishu api sthaneshu. So he's going to give you an alternative way of looking at it. But let's just forget about that. Let's just look at the present sentence. In the present sentence, he says that because of the equality of two ways of looking at aprabodha. Aprabodha means non-understanding. They are one of two kinds. What are the two kinds? This is an important thing to see. I tell you, I say this because this is the key to the whole teaching of the Karika. The whole teaching of the Karika. As we will see this, this is just an introduction. This will be consolidated, explained, confirmed, repeated, and so this is an important thing. So Adi Shankara says, Adi Shankara actually introduces this concept very early, right away. And it says, there are two ways of looking at something that you don't know. And the two ways are darshana adarshana vrityoho tulyatva. I'm just picking out some words to make a sentence. Darshana adarshana vrityoho. Vrityoho means vritti. So darshana vritti means the thought behind the experience. We've already seen this, that my entire set of experience in my life is I don't touch a table, but I touch the thought of touching the table. Everything is thought-based. The whole thing is nothing but thoughts, thoughts, thoughts. And if you feel, how is that possible? That's exactly what happens in the dream. In the dream, you touch a table. Now you say, oh, this is very cold, or this is very hot. You touch it. So there is a thought of touching something. That is called touching. The same thing is true in Jagrata Avastha also. You do not touch anything. You do not see anything. You do not contact anything. You simply contact, not even contact. You simply observe the copy of those experiences into your mind. This is called vritti. So here he says again, darshana adarshana vrityoho. He says that the two ways of looking at something both have vrittis and they are similar. What are the two ways? I keep saying two ways. What are the two ways? One is you don't see it at all. And the other way is you see it, but you do not see it the way you should see it. Those are the two ways. Both result in your ignorance. So he says it doesn't matter whether you see something or you don't. If you don't identify it correctly, it remains, it is the same thing. You don't know it. Like, so many examples can be given, but just typically you see something, but you don't know what that is. In the Shastra, it is given that um, that for a child, a diamond means nothing. So, if, for example, the parents are playing with some things, and one of them has a very valuable thing, which is a diamond is worth thousands of dollars. But if the child doesn't know it, um, it does not correctly identify it, it throws it away, thinking it is just a piece of rock. So this is called darshana vritti aprabodha. So there is a darshana vritti. You do see the diamond, but you don't know it's a diamond. So this is called darshana vritti aprabodha. Or you never even saw it to begin with. In both cases, you do not understand. You either misunderstand or you don't understand, amounting to the same thing. So this is what now we can read the meaning of the whole sentence. He says, Darshana adarshana vityoho tattva aprabodha lakshanasya. Lakshanasya means that one which is unindicated by aprabodha. Vrityoho aprabodha means that one which is characterized by not understanding. Swapasya tulyatvat sushupti grahanartham yatra suptaha ityadi visheshanam. So now we can put it together, and this is an important thing. He says, in the Jagrat Avastha and in the Swapna Avastha, you see things but you do not correctly identify it. So there also it is ignorance. In the Sushupti, you don't even see it. And so you still do not identify it. So he says, therefore. So when you says two of them, so the two of them are Jagrat Avastha and Swapna Avastha clubbed into one, and Sushupti clubbed into the second one. In both cases, you don't see it, so they're all full of ignorance. Because you fail to see the tattva of the experiences. So he says, this is the introduction to the fifth verse, fifth mantra, that really speaking, even before, it's not as though you understood it properly, you did not understand it. Here, that understanding of the becomes adarshana. It goes into hiding. But in both cases, there is no correct understanding. So this is the duality. But he says that if you want to separate the two into three, that's okay too. So the separate into three means what? Sushupti, Jagrat, Swapna, all three of them. Or you can club them in these two clubbed into one. So that's why he says, Athava Trishu api sthaneshu tattva apradibodha lakshanasya swape avishishtaha iti purvabhyam sushuptaha vibhajate. So I won't go into the details of the second sentence, but it just means that really speaking, both of them are the same. So why this is important, I kept saying that. Why this is important is that our life is full of experiences. So when I say seeing things, seeing means experiencing in different ways, all the five indriyas. This is what our life consists of. And seeing things is neither a problem nor a solution. So this is what thinking about. This is what I'm extracting from all the Upadesha of the Mandukya Karika. So this is an important concept that one doesn't really put enough attention to, and one should. These are the fundamentals of vichara. Shruti Purvaka vichara. These are the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? That simply experiencing the life, which is what we do from morning to evening, from day to day, from year to year, decade to decade, until we are gone. All we are doing is experiencing things and making sense of it, trying to escape problems, to dodge them. This is what we do. Gaining some morsels of happiness here and there. This is what we do. So our entire life consists of nothing but experiencing and evaluating them, drawing conclusions from it. So the teaching says this is a mistake. How? Because experiencing things or seeing things is what called darshana vritti. Darshana vritti. The adarshana vritti, which is sushupti, we will see that later. I'm still kind of distinguishing the darshana vritti from adarshana vritti. But if you look at the darshana vritti, which is what experiences are, it is neither a problem, meaning that to say that this is what's causing my problems in life is wrong, neither is it a solution. Neither a problem nor a solution. This is a very interesting thing. It is neither a problem nor a solution. Then what should I do? Because I'm trying to find a solution in life. That's what all of us are, knowingly or unknowingly, whether we acknowledge it or don't acknowledge it, we are all in our own way trying to solve the puzzle of life. And that puzzle of life, consisting of either a problem or a solution, doesn't lie in my experiences. It's something totally different. It is finally, as we will see in more and more clarity and more detail and substantiation, means I have to see that I have nothing to do with the experiences. I am a different entity altogether, and I have to investigate that. What different entity are we talking about? How can I be different from the experience? Exactly. Exactly. You are asking the questions that I should be asking you. That is what self knowledge is all about. It's not a joke. We have to completely understand how is it that the experiences are totally irrelevant for me. This is where the search has to be. But to keep within the experiences and seeing it as a problem or a solution is not it. So, to point that out, Adi Shankara gives a very beautiful pointer. He says, listen, either by going to sleep, in which some of the immediate issues of your life go away, and you have a total ignorance about yourself as a kind of an experience of ananda without depending on anything outside, that is all okay. But that also means that you don't know yourself. See, so this is the thing: is I'm trying to, not trying to, but I'm just giving you some ideas about the next part of it. Anyway, forget about that. All I did was to point out that this is a very important introduction, and because it points out that by merely seeing things doesn't mean that you are any wiser. You are just as ignorant as you are in Sushupti, not understanding the tattva about yourself. This is the point. And so this will be taken up in the Karika, that seeing things doesn't solve anything. Experiencing doesn't solve anything. But to real waking up means you are, so whether you are completely asleep or semi-asleep, you are still sleeping. Semi-sleeping means Jagrat and Sushupti, like sleepwalking. Or you are completely sleeping. The two are the same. Tulyatvat. Darshana vrityoho tattva apradibodha lakshanasya swapasya tulyatva. He says, they're really two sides of the same coin. Anyway, so let's go ahead. There's lots more to be done, but I thought I'd spend some time just looking at that part of it. The same concept is given in the various Upanishads. In the I think this is in the Kena Upanishad, where it says Vidita aviditat adhi. Same concept. Vidita aviditat adhi. So Vidita aviditat means that Atma is neither known nor unknown. Very beautiful way of looking at it. Very beautiful understanding. So you can say, what is Atma, what is Parameshwara, what is Ishvara, where is Brahman, where is Paramatma? Is it here? No. Is it there? No. That means not vidita. Can I see it? No. You cannot see it. Can I feel it? No. But it's just this is the thing. People do it. So all the people, they either remove their thoughts as yoga does, or you are become bhaktas somehow. If I just keep praying to Ishvara, he would really come in front of me. You go to Tirthasthanam, you feel, this is interesting. You find this very common. Just some of the students recently had said the same thing, that when I went to such and such place, some cave or something, the experience that I have was just amazing. I've never had that experience. So you feel somehow associated with a place. This is what it means, not here, not there, not this way, not that way, dividita. Anything else you can say no. You cannot. So you cannot see it. You cannot experience it. No, you cannot experience it. So that means that it is not there, because life consists of things that are experienceable. If something is there, then it must be experienced. If something is not there, that means it is. If something is not experienceable, that means it is not there. So Atma must not be there. Ishvara must not be there. It's not there. That is very strange. Excuse me. It's not there. It's not here. That means it's not possible. No, you cannot say it's not possible. Why is that? Because it is there in all experiences, and it is also there when there are no experiences. It does not require one to experience it. This is your own self, your apa, as Swami Akhandananda says. This is what we have to understand. You don't need any experiences. And even when the experiences disappear in deep sleep. So this is interesting. If I don't need any experiences, then at least at the time when I don't have an experience, I should see it. This is the funny part, that even in the deep sleep state, when I don't have the problems of any experiencing, I still don't see myself. And this is why you get up just as foolish as you went to sleep, still searching. And until we need to find out that the Atma is something which is there in all experiences, which is there in no experience, which is there, I am, I am, I am. And so this is why experiencing is not a problem, neither is it a solution. None of them really apply to it, because the Atma is self-existing. It doesn't need any proof. You cannot say, prove it to me. If I understand that I am somebody that doesn't need a proof, I'm done. But I don't get it. I keep fighting. No. You have to prove it to me. Hey, prove you to what? The person you're trying to prove is you. The person who is doubting is you. Anyway, so this is that beautiful word, vidita aviditat adhi. It is different from vidita, different from avidita. It's the same concept. I just thought I would point that out because the same concept of darshana, adarshana, vrityoho, tattva apradibodhas lakshanasya tulyat swapasya tulyatvat. Anyway, so that is that. So now, with that introduction, the mantra starts. We haven't even started the mantra yet. So the mantra then starts and it says, Yatra suktaha na kanchana kamam kamayate na kanchana swapnam pashyati tat sushuptam. So now he defines the sushupti avastha, a place where I rest. So you remember, this is like a doctor, Ayurvedic doctor, that practices in one place, and then there's a laboratory that he or she experiments with in another place, and then you rest for a while. There is no desires. There is no experiencing. You are there just by yourself. Nearly, not completely. What do you mean by nearly, not completely? That we will see. But for now, yatra suptaha na kanchana kamam kamayate. There's nothing drives you in terms of what needs to be done now. What should I do next? It's what our life is all about. If you just examine it, it's nothing but a series of desires, either big desires, small desires, new ones, old ones. It is something just, if you just examine the vritti, it's very interesting. Just you should see all the vrittis that come. Okay, now I have got to do this. Now I have to see what I have to eat. Then what do I need to do? Oh, yes, I need this. Oh, I've got to do that. Oh, somebody calls. All nothing but desires. Except you are there just sleeping without any desires. Na kamam kamayate. Na kanchana swapnam pashyati. So sometimes even in the daytime, you are just daydreaming. You're not, there's no real desire that is tugging at you, but you are just daydreaming. Nothing happens in the daydream, in the sleep. So he says, Tat Sushuptam. Then so here Swami Akhandananda uh, it takes up the word mana, two words, manaspanditam. Manaspanditam. Manaspanditam means that the two other avasthas, the two other states of my experiencing, namely the waking state as well as the dream state, requires a mind which is moving. This is a very important concept, really. Again, make a note of these. All these, like for example, the point about that my seeing things doesn't help and doesn't cause a problem. And seeing things is not tattva bodha. This is one important thing, you should note it down. Another important thing to note down in your diary of important points, as I had mentioned to you very early on, is this point. Manaspanditam. Manaspanditam means that the way my two other experiences come about. What are the two other experiences? My Jagrata Avastha and my Swapna Avastha, not the Sushupti Avastha. And the absence of those in the Sushupti Avastha also confirms that this in fact is what the problem. And what is the issue? What is the problem? The other two avasthas are manaspanditam. So manaspanditam means there is nothing going on outside, but my mind moves to create an impression there is something going on outside. Believe it or not, this is a fact. And so even when we think there are things going outside, this is something we will look into in more detail, because one can have a lot of doubts about this. Hey, how can you do that? But let me fully explain what we mean by manaspanditam. Then we'll take up objections and doubts to it. Okay? So here the example given, and I think we had Swami Akhandananda has pointed this out 2 or 3 different times, and this is something that he borrowed from his knowledge of the Tibetan yoga, where remember there was a person who went to his Tibetan master and said, "Sir, I see this flag moving, and I have a question. Is the flag moving, or is it the wind moving?" So the master replied to him, "Neither the flag nor the wind is moving, your mind is moving." Okay. So now Swami Akhandananda ji again brings up the analogy of the swapna, which is the basis of this whole talk, the basis of this entire, not talk, but the whole series of talks of the Karika. And this is a very important example given by Ishvara for us to analyze. We have to dig out the truth about this similarity between the Swapna and Jagrata. It's just like diving again and again and putting out new jewels out of the sea. Something like that. Really, this will happen. So here, look at this example. Do you not see that the same manaspanditam is responsible for your dream? Do you not see that? I'm not asking you. I'm just saying this is what Shastra is asking us, both of us. Shastra is saying, don't you see this? See what? That if there are people moving, if there is a train moving, there is no train moving. It is your mind moving. Don't you see that? Oh, we have to acknowledge and say, yes. You cannot deny that. See, this is why I was telling you this the other day. This is also a very important thing, that we do not accept any proposal for any new ideas unless there is a proof. Remember, there was a discussion we had earlier on sometimes, and I think we'll repeat it, that some of the arguments put together by the alternative schools of thought, like the Sankhyas and Vaisheshikas and others, are not convincing because there is no example, there is no proof. So the Shruti, Vyukti and Anubhava all must come together. There should be an example and a proof. So this is it. So the proof is given by Ishvara in the form of dreams. So here in this context of Manaspanditam, you can see this. Don't you see that really speaking, the outside things don't move, but the way your mind moves, vibrates, creates the impression that outside is moving. And therefore we should see that the same phenomena is true in my Jagrata Avastha. So this is the issue. The issue is that we initially say, oh no, that is just a dream. That's just like a dream. This is reality. And I see things moving outside. I don't see how my mind's movement is creating this kind of a thing in Jagrata Avastha. It's different, completely different. Shastra says, please, that's not the case. The phenomena are exactly the same. There's some small differences. One is that looks very real, and there also it looks very real. So you cannot say that. So now there can be an objection. There can be a valid doubt. And that is that, I did not create movement that I see. So how can my mind be responsible for the movement? Like, there's a war going on in Ukraine and between Israel and the Palestinians. I didn't create that. So that is imposed on me. So you cannot say that my mind is moving and therefore the outside things are not there. You cannot say that. It's very different. Shastra says it's not different. Not different. How come? Because what you see in this Jagrata Avastha is also the remnants of your samskaras and vasanas. How? Because you took birth in this life based on your previous avastha, your previous samskaras, which means that you put yourself in a situation where these kinds of conflicts and resolutions will happen. Wars are going to happen. There's going to be people, animals, and sun, and all those kinds of things. This is still nothing but this is your samashti samskaras impinging on you. There's no reality. And if you don't believe it, all you have to do is to understand that you can go to sleep and they all disappear. The funny part is that the wars can disappear and so on, but even if you get injured in the war, that injury also disappears. So, the end point is, it is all manaspanditam. There is nothing going on outside. It appears to be going on outside. And yes, it is much more elaborate. And the same thing happens in the dream. You also create so many situations, all from your previous samskaras. But in the Jagrata Avastha, they are even more powerful because your samskaras are developed over a long period of time. In the Swapnavastha, that was just borrowed just from recent happenings. But in the Jagrata Avastha, the outside world is developed over millions of lives. But they're all held in the cloud of your memory. And they take very elaborate forms like the Ukraine war. Those things are going to happen. But it is really just manaspanditam. And as soon as the spanditam stops, they also disappear. That's your experience. So this we will see further that how this coalesces into Eki Bhutam, Pragyana Ghanam, and then Anandamayaha, Anandabhuk, all these kinds of Visheshanam, qualities of the Sushupti Avastha will be taken up, and we will do that in subsequent classes. Okay, so with that, let me wrap up today's class and we'll go from there. Om Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Very good. Good to see you. Seeing if you had any questions, but doesn't look like it. So with that, I will take your leave and hopefully we'll see you in the next class, which will be on a Tuesday. Hari Om.